self-help group is are a group of people, like small number of people who pool together, who contribute money. Regular contribution is made to build a capital base, and then they use this money to to lend to a borrower, maybe among themselves or some other person. And at the same time, they establish a track record of this regular payment and sort of build a credit history. And these registered self-help group then approach banks and give them this track record of regular payments and show their credibility, on the basis of which they can borrow money from commercial banks. So this is the model on which SHGs are based on, and it's been quite a success in India. There are numbers on the internet which will corroborate their claim. Another success story that I want to share here is the SKS microfinance, which is entirely based upon the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. It exactly follows the same methodology that Grameen Banks follows. I mean, little tweaks based on the geography and India basically. So there are 3 steps in this SKS microfinance. There are 3 steps in the methodology followed by SKS microfinance. First is the village selection. There is a Sangam foundation and financial transactions. So in village selection, so SKS representatives go pick a village. They pick a village based on multiple criteria. For example, the geographical location of the village, population, the poverty level, the number of people having access to the formal banking services, the money lender, the local money lenders, and things of that sort. So once SKS picks a village, then they disclose that SKS in the village and people would want to make use of them. Then people who are interested from the village, they usually form like a group of 5 or less, and in a group is basically consists of women. No guy or men are allowed. And so there will be almost 20 groups in each village, and they call it a Sangam formation. They call it a Sangam group, and it's based on dual liability model, which means that the whole Sangam group is kind of a guarantor for any transaction that happens between SKs and the clients. And finally, the third one is the financial transaction. That's the actual transaction that's happened between the clients. These are basically the Sangam group and the SKs, which are in turn been funded by the commercial banks. And both these microfinance initiatives been a great success, and that's something that excites my interest. And moving ahead, let's see the ICT for development. ICT stands for Information and Communication Technologies. It's like how technology can be used in this domain of microfinance, and it's a wide-based notion. And also observe that innovative use of the existing technologies such as ATMs, PDA, smartphones, internet, mobile phones have this technology advantage, which helps expand the customer reach, provides a quality service to customer satisfaction, also provide mechanism to collect data in a persistent manner, so that you can go back and analyze the data in a different manner to get different sets of conclusions and things of that sort. So it's pretty flexible, and technology can do wonders. And most importantly, it will reduce the transaction cost, and that's what I'm looking into it, as far as my idea of $30 finance goes, which I'm going to talk about in a while now. So before moving there, I would really want to quote this example from SKS Microfinance, because they are using ICT to some degree. I had an opportunity to see their MI system, the Management Information System, which is a great system, I think, for facilitating all the transactions using the technology, and it's been localized in more than 100 languages, so I think it's kind of cool. Now let's move on to the $30 finance, and I would really want to share my vision, and here are the few key points that I believe in. So recently I came across this paper by Martin Fisher. He is the founder of Kickstart, and he believes that the cash-based economy can be a viable and sustainable solution to poverty. Now I'll go ahead and talk about the vision of $30 finance. So here are the few of the key points that I believe in, and I have just wrote it down here. I recently came across a paper by Martin Fisher. He is the founder of Kickstart, and he says that, and that's where my thinking is influenced from, cash-based economy can be a viable and sustainable solution to poverty. So let's, make money for poor people, and that's how we will try to eradicate the poverty. Now, another belief is that there is a gap between people who is willing to help and people who need help. And there's also a sense of social obligation that exists in all of us, and we want to go ahead and help people in need so that you have a better society that you live in. But why I say it's dormant is because this sense of social obligation is there somewhere, but it's been superseded by some other things in life which people may find more important, like their personal or professional development, or just raising the standard of living. So, but my vision is to exploit this sense of social obligation, to generate funds for the poor. And in this process, the ICT, information and communication technology, is going to play an important role by specifically reducing the operational and transactional costs. And finally, this is going to be a non-profit organization, meaning no big buck for it, even if it's a success. Yeah, so you have a question.
Yeah, why is it $30 finance? I mean, why not 50 or...
Okay. So basic idea behind the number 30 is one thing, it's $30 and not 30 rupees. For a poor in India, $30 is almost like 1,500 rupees, means a lot. So if you hey Craig, how are you?
How's it going?
Going great.
Good.
Thanks for joining me.
Anytime.
Okay.
Please keep going.
Sure. So yeah, basically that's the idea. So $30 in the US seems like a small amount of money, but in the developing economies, it's a large amount of money. And if you could provide funds in the multiples of $30, that could make a difference in developing, economies. People in developing economies, rather. Now let's see. So my project, I have divided it in 3 phases, and in each phase I will be using advanced technologies to reduce the operational and transaction costs. Now on the right side, the column, it talks about the objectives that each phase is aiming to achieve. For example, for phase 1, we will try to build a credit history for low-income clients, and we would expect to have a substantial number of people with a credit history at the end of phase 1. Then the objective of phase 2 is to scale the system and generate funds, or get new sources to generate funds. And phase 3 is to provide or to make this model more sustainable. So let me go ahead and talk about these different phases. So phase 1's objective, as already mentioned, is to build the credit history for poor people who otherwise